Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome into the week 15 edition NFL morning. How are you?
Doing fine, thank you. Cold today, just very cold.
It's winter. So, yes,
Yes.
I would expect it to be cold. It's cold. It's a dark world out there, especially for the
Mm.
two of us right now. Actually, no, technically, the Cowboys are still alive.
We got a 1% chance, and we have a better record than you, so shush.
Listen, wasn't trying to be mean. Technically, I wasn't really trying to be mean because I was going to start with the game last night. Oh, so starting with the game last night, the Steelers beat the Dolphins by a score of 28-15. Steelers go to 8-6, Dolphins 6-8, out eliminated from the playoffs. Uh, Mark's favorite quarterback, Aaron Rodgers, was 23-27 for 224 yards and 2 touchdowns, one of which went to DK Metcalf. And what porous tackling on that play. That
Oh,
other side of the ball, Tua Tagovailoa, 22 of 20, 253, 2 touchdowns, and an interception. Like I said, the Dolphins eliminated from the playoffs for a second consecutive year. The Steelers are still atop the AFC North. Before I get going, you want to say anything about last night's game?
pretty clearly, look, Aaron Rodgers is Aaron Rodgers. We're not going to crucify him. The Pittsburgh Steelers are 8-6. They have a chance to go to the playoffs. Tomlin is still the coach. I think what it all comes down to is where they finish in the scheme of things. And I don't think Rodgers needs to be back next year. I don't know if they have much of a choice, but he's clearly not the quarterback he was. And if you can take no hint from what's been going on this year, he better watch out. He's already suffered some of these injuries, and these injuries are getting worse.
My thing is this on the Steelers. I don't think they're a great football team. I think they are a good football team. But when they get matched up against the elite teams of the AFC, they often don't play great. Look at the game they played this year against the Bills. Look at the game, even the Raven game. I know they won it, but let's be fair here. That Isaiah Likely plays a touchdown, and
Yeah.
and if the NFL has to call the Ravens about a personal foul penalty on a field goal, I got a problem with that. All right, so the Raven game, it is what it is. They're going to play the Lions on Sunday. Do I think they're going to go into Detroit and beat the Lions? I don't know. I do not know if they're going to go in and beat the Lions.
The Lions are as I cover them for the Blitzers, you can follow them on the network. They're flip of the coin right now. Their offense is good. There's no question about the offense. Their defense is just so split in half. The front line and the linebackers know what they're doing. And as we saw Aiden Hutchinson with that beautiful interception. That secondary couldn't cover anybody. It was like watching the Dallas Cowboys out there, but with a better, more experienced front end.
Well, we'll get into that next week when the Steelers and Lions go play each other. But yes, the Steelers go to 8-6. They're still at the top of the AFC North. It's a good thing the Dolphins play in Florida because, well, they can spend their winter in hibernation. And I was going to save the rant for the wishbone, but I'm going to do it here too. I'm going to probably do it for both. False hope. False hope is something we all get. No matter what you believe in or don't believe in, false hope is something everyone has. Whether it is in sports or in life in general, we all have a false hope. Going into last night's game, I had hope because I'm an idiot. I had hope that this team, this Miami Dolphin team, could go into Pittsburgh, beat the Steelers, and go to get back to 500. And that's all I was really hoping for. I was hoping for to get back to 500. Playoff wise, they're not. They were never going to make the playoffs. They just don't have the tiebreakers, and they weren't going to win out. That's a whole nother conversation. But I'm a sucker and an idiot for believing the fact that I felt this team could do something in cold weather. Because I forgot. I forgot what it was like to watch what this crap is. And last night put an exclamation point on something for me. Last night put an exclamation point on this quarterback's career. I'm done. Tua Tagovailoa is not a franchise quarterback. The interception he throws to Asante Samuel is inexcusable. The fact that he's running for his life and doesn't realize he has to throw the ball away is inexcusable. The fact that there was no sense of urgency in the fourth quarter is inexcusable to me. Which brings me to the head coach. I believe Rex Ryan likes to call him Nerd Boy, but Rex Ryan really has no place to call anybody names since, he got his wife he had his wife get a tattoo of Mark Sanchez. This team wasn't right. This defense got worn down. They couldn't tackle in the second half because this offense couldn't move the ball. And on top of that, they got away from what made them a successful football team over the last 4 weeks. And that was running the ball with Devon Achane, or as Mark calls him, Don Amici. They got away from that. And I think the thing that bothered me the most in that game last night wasn't the fact that they lost, wasn't the fact of how they lost, because I should have seen it coming. It's the fact that the stars didn't show up. Tua Tagovailoa, you want to be an elite quarterback? You have to show up. You didn't show up. Bradley Chubb, you're going up a guy making his second start at left tackle. I didn't see you last night. There's an APB app for you. And because the quarterback wasn't good, the most important player on the Dolphin offense wasn't a factor. And that's Jalen Waddle. This team needs a culture change or a culture shock. They don't win games in the cold. They don't win big games. I thought Mike McDaniel had done enough to keep his job going into next year. I'm off brand. I'm out. McDaniel, Tua. I don't care about the dead cap hit for Tua next year. I I would trade tomorrow if even if I'm gonna eat dead cap, Tua for Kirk Cousins, where the caps could potentially wash out. I would do that in 25 seconds. Also, I really like Kirk Cousins, but that's a whole nother conversation. And now it's the perfect opportunity for the Dolphins to do something along those lines for this reason. A game we will talk about later, which was a great game between the Buffalo Bills and the New England Patriots. You're not better than those teams in your own division. And if you want to look at the AFC as a whole, there's a lot of teams you ain't better than right now. It's a little bit of a good opportunity and timing wise to hit the reset button. But we'll see what happens. Do you want to add on before we?
No, I think you pretty much covered it.
All right. So let's get to the big story of Sunday. And that is the run is over. The Chiefs lost to the Chargers by a score of 16-13. But there was something bigger than that. The Chiefs are now eliminated from the playoffs. But more importantly than that, Patrick Mahomes tore his ACL and LCL, underwent successful surgery yesterday in Texas. So we wish Patrick Mahomes nothing but the best.
So uncalled for. Sorry. So not needed.
You know, Mark, it feels like that was the cherry on top of what's just been an awful year for the Chiefs.
I don't know if you want to make it as a cherry on top or whatever. This
It
is
can't be another scoop.
No, this is just the end all. You know, this is the empty bowl after everything is done. That's what this is. It just was not needed. And the moment you saw his knee go down, you knew that was it, the way it was bending. And that was the end of it. Injuries this year, and we'll get into others that happen. Injuries this year have been on the rise. And it's not singled out towards any team, of course, but it's the same injuries that we're seeing over and over and over, whether it's Achilles or ACL, MCL. What's more going to be due to protect these players? That's what I want to say.
Well, and that's why there's been talk about the grass and turf that the players have been talking about with the league. I again have to look more into what's going on there, but that's been something that's been discussed. This sucks. This quite frankly sucks, and I don't care if you're a pro Chief person, an anti Chief person. The Chiefs are there, and you really just don't care. Football's better when Patrick Mahomes plays because Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback in football. You could throw the statistics out the window. I'm saying this as a football fan. There are guys I love to watch. Patrick Mahomes tops the list because of what he does, not just with the big arm, but what he could do with his legs and everything, he's just fun to watch. And now, and look, listen, there was a chance he doesn't play the rest of the year anyway once the Chiefs got eliminated because they could say, oh, he's got nagging injuries. He's not going to play. But the fact of, and let's mind you, we don't know what the status is going to be going into next year. He might miss the first 3-4 weeks.
And that's a distinct possibility considering his age.
So again, we'll have to see how the rehab goes, but I I don't want to say this because it's going to sound really mean. But the other part of this is now Kansas City has to hit a little bit of a reset too. Because now, listen, Patrick will be back at some point, we know. But there's other parts to this team that need some confirmation. What is Travis Kelce going to do going into next year? What is a guy like Chris Jones going to do going into next year? And now you kind of have to shuffle things up because they have needs on this team. The offensive line still isn't very good outside of maybe Trey Smith and Creed Humphrey. Receiver, they might need another receiver because the Juju Tyquan Thornton thing doesn't work for me. But you got Worthy, you got Rice. You want one more? Go for it. Just mentioned tight end. They sure as heck need another corner to go opposite Trent McDuffie. That was proven this year. And so Kansas City's going to have a little bit of a reset here too. But they're not dead. This isn't a rebuild situation. It's a retool situation. It just sucks that right now we're going into next year potentially without getting to watch one of the best quarterbacks in football. Although, I don't know if you saw this. So Mahomes tore the ACL. I think he's 30. Tom Brady was also 30 when he tore his ACL.
How many rings did Tom have when he turned 30?
Oh, that's a good. Okay, so it was 2008. So they'd won an 01, 03, 04. He had 4.
Okay. Then I will leave that new conversation I was about to start out of it.
I think he had. Yeah, I think he had 4.
Okay. Then we'll leave that out of it.
But just to flip this over to the Chargers, because I don't want to make this not about the Chargers too. They're right now still alive at a wild card spot. Their defense was really good on Sunday against the Chiefs. They've got a massive game on Sunday in your world.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting game. You'll get a little bit of coverage of it in a little while, but that's going to be a big game, more for the Chargers than it will be for the Cowboys.
Yeah, because they're trying to keep pace with the Broncos, who all they do is win.
Yep.
And
no matter what.
Yeah. They're on their high horse. As they beat the Packers by a score of 34-26, going to 12-2 on the year. Bo Nix, 23-34, 302 yards and 4 touchdowns. Cortland Sutton went for over 100 yards and a touchdown. For the Packers, Jordan Love, 24-40, 276 yards, a touchdown, 2 picks. 2 touchdowns for Josh Jacobs, 1 rushing, 1 receiving. The Broncos with this win have clinched a playoff berth, not the AFC West. But the big story for what was that?
Nothing.
The big story for the Packers was your boy Micah Parsons, torn ACL as well, and this one, the Mahomes one kills you. This one was just I don't know
It
what
was a
happened.
freak accident. It was a
I don't know
freak
what
accident.
happened on Sunday, man.
It was a freak accident, unfortunately. At first, it looks like Parsons got faked out which way Nix was gonna go, and he went up in the air because he was trying to get his hands up in his face to get rid of a passing lane. And instead of coming down cleanly, his leg came down and locked into the turf. And when he went to turn, his body couldn't move, and you saw that leg bend out of shape, and you knew it was over. I do not know if he's had surgery yet, but I do know they have already discussed that he will have surgery and he will not be back, obviously, for the playoffs. And this is a big blow to a Green Bay defense that was doing so well.
Yeah, this kills you. And he was the guy that was the difference maker on this defense.
He was the energy.
He made Rashawn Gary better. He made that line better.
But now
And
every
now you put
quarterback who faces Green Bay is going to be able to breathe easier, knowing they're going to have that extra second back
yeah.
to be able to throw the ball.
And I think that's what changes my feelings on Green Bay from. I don't want to say they were a definitive Super Bowl contender with Parsons, but now I don't view them that way. The other reason I don't view them as a legitimate Super Bowl contender right now, and I know he had played so well, and he played fairly well Sunday. I'm still not there on Jordan Love.
You and I have gone back and forth on Jordan Love, especially after he was thrust into the post Aaron Rodgers era. I don't see him as an elite quarterback, and I know that President Paggi is not happy with that statement. He's not. The defense was keeping this offense in games. That's how I looked at it. The defense kept other teams at bay, and you see Jordan Love throw for 250 and two touchdowns, and they win 17-14. You're considering Jordan Love to be the hero and the best. You just saw what he is when he's down big time.
He's not a guy who should be throwing the ball 40 times. Like
No,
that's just not. And I get it. That was just the way the game was. But when I look at quarterbacks in the NFC that are going to play in the playoffs, he's not the top of my list.
nope.
And I'll be honest with you, if I'm flip siding it to Denver, Bo Nix, really good game. I'm not all the way there on Bo Nix either.
Well, Bo Nix shut up a lot of people with this game,
Yeah.
in my opinion. This was a top two defense in the NFL. Mind you, yes, it's not that they beat them completely. Yeah, injury did take out 90% of that defense. No. Bo Nix exposed that secondary for as weak as it is. I mean, he wasn't flawless, but he was nearly flawless. Four TDs on the day. He just showed how teams need to score against Green Bay and how to stop them.
And it goes into this. He got drafted into the perfect situation because Sean Payton has done a very nice job with Bo Nix. So,
And RJ Harvey has been also a great
RJ
addition.
Harvey,
10
he's an
touchdowns on the year as a rookie.
he's an X factor going into the playoffs. He's a
Yep.
massive X factor. Um, we do have a little bit of news for Jordan Schultz. The New York Jets are releasing Alan Lazard upon his request. He will go on waivers and hit free agency if cleared.
I got $1 says he ends up in Pittsburgh.
He winds up in Pittsburgh. He might wind up back to Green Bay.
Well, I don't. The only reason why I might not agree with that is till we hear the condition on Christian Watson.
Well, that's why I'm saying he might wind up there. So,
Yeah, Christian Watson went down with that shoulder injury. Thank God it wasn't the knee injury that just got fixed from last year, but he left the game early due to that. So That's a possibility.
How about this game next week for Denver, or this upcoming week for Denver? Denver's going to host the Jacksonville Jaguars.
That's going to be a fun game, and not for the Jacksonville defense, because I don't like the Jacksonville Jaguars defense at all. Trevor Lawrence is putting up some very impressive numbers. I mean, thank you to him and Travis Etienne really helped me in my money league this weekend. Um, I think this is going to be a showdown. I think this is going to be Trevor Lawrence's one chance to prove he can be a winning quarterback. And I think the Denver defense is going to put up a hell of a stance against them.
And then week 18, Chargers Broncos. That might be for the AFC West title. In between that, the Broncos will play the Chiefs and the Chargers will play the Texans.
I don't envy the Chargers on the Texans. The Chargers should beat the Cowboys unless, the Chargers defense doesn't show up and Dak throws for 400 yards. The Chargers should beat the Dallas Cowboys, and that's coming from a Dallas fan. It won't be by a landslide, but they should beat them.
The other top story from Sunday was the return of Philip Rivers. The Colts went into Seattle. Let's be honest, they gave it a fight.
Anybody who didn't take the plus 13 was stupid.
The Seahawks beat the Colts by a score of 18-16. Philip Rivers was 18 of 27, 120 yards, touchdown, and interception. Jonathan Taylor went for 87 yards rushing on 25 carries. The Seahawks kicked 6 field goals. Sam Darnold was 22 of 36 for 271 yards, no touchdowns, no picks. But the Seahawks, they go to 11-3. The Colts go to 8-6. But look, Philip Rivers, give him credit, man. Give him credit. He went in, he did his job, and he's not the reason they lost the game.
That's fair enough. I'll give you that. He is not the reason they lost. When you saw Philip Rivers throw that first ball, there is no zip on that ball whatsoever. That ball hung there. The touchdown pass, that is a quarterback's favorite play. A quick slant, and you get to a guy with quick legs, especially down at the goal line. That's a throw 9 out of 10 quarterbacks should be able to make, especially a veteran one. He looked like garbage. He looked slow, and that's because he's 44 years old.
Well,
The
let's
man
also
hasn't
be
thrown a
honest.
ball.
He signed last Tuesday, and he's playing
The,
Sunday.
the man hasn't played in 5 years. I'm sure he's done some conditioning and stuff as he coaches a high school team, and he has to set an example. It was the Indianapolis defense that kept them in this game as long as they did. That defense showed up and stopped one of the most potent offenses in football with that passing game with Ninjigba and Rashid, the running game with Kenny Walker and Charbonnet.
Charbonnet.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it was the Colts defense that kept it close enough. You got to credit Jonathan Taylor, who had almost 30 carries for 90 yards. Unfortunately, no scores that didn't help. But keeping the ball control was big, letting Seattle have little time with it. That was the key. When you saw Indianapolis with a +2 score possibility, I dropped as much as I could on that. I knew that Philip Rivers would keep them in it, but I also knew what they were playing for. The Seahawks could afford to lose a game if they had to, considering the stance of that division. But see, congratulations to Seattle pulling it out. Rivers will start again.
Yep,
You
Monday
know,
night against the Niners.
and funny enough, he was a California guy before it all. He started for the San Diego Chargers, so we'll see.
Well,
You
that game will
know,
be, that game will be in Indy, so there's gonna be no weather issue because
Right. So I
duh.
mean, it'll be in the best interest of Jonathan Taylor to get extra rest and probably work in some more gimmick plays, some more wide receiver screens, stuff, anything to get the ball moving quicker than making them throw downfield.
And just to flip this to Seattle, that defense is playing so well right now. And Thursday night, they got a showdown coming with the Rams.
I can't wait for that game.
But I give them a slight edge because of what happened on Sunday to the Rams. Get into that in a minute. But if they're going to make a run here in the playoffs, Sam Darnold can't be what he was Sunday. He needs to be better.
Sam Darnold will be fine. This was a hiccup game, and that's why I'm calling it that because there was so much pressure for Indianapolis to win, made it harder for Seattle to lose.
Mm-hmm.
And even though you're playing in the loudest stadium in football, I give Philip Rivers credit for
Oh
going
yeah.
into that stadium without having called a snap in 5 years and to do as well as he did in that stadium in those predicaments. So
Oh, yeah.
that's where I give him a big hats off.
Absolutely. Speaking of the Rams, they beat the Lions in a shootout 41-34.
Great game.
Oh, it was phenomenal. Matthew Stafford once again adding to the MVP resume with another 368 yards and 2 touchdowns. Kyron Williams had 2 rushing touchdowns. Puka Nacua went for over 180 yards. For the Lions, Jared Goff went for 338 and 3 touches. Amon-Ra St. Brown, 164 yards and 2 touchdowns. The Rams go to 11-3. The Lions go to 8-6. But the big story is this one. Davante Adams pulled hamstring. Most likely done for the regular season because this one helped the Rams clinch a playoff berth. So he will probably not be seen till the playoffs.
And also Puka Nacua, we will hear by tomorrow, will possibly also miss this upcoming weekend's game due to the injury he sustained at the end.
He came back
Um,
in though, so that's why I'm
I think it would be in their best interest. They have clinched a playoff berth.
yeah.
Re- Rest him. There's no reason to play him. If you're still fighting and he can go, different story. If I understand how important home field advantage is. Trust me. However, you lose Puka Nacua because you're rushing him back in and you don't give him the right rest. And then let's say Devontae Adams, because of his age, that hamstring doesn't heal fast enough. You're down both your receivers going into that first week. Forget it.
Mm-hmm.
So hats off to Kyron Williams, who had really probably one of the most important running games of the whole week and had to get through that Lions defense. Stafford didn't look good, but he didn't look bad. You can't say a quarterback who threw for 368 ever looks bad. Um, I would think if the person who looked bad the entire game was Jahmyr Gibbs, the guy who has done it literally all for the Lions all year.
Mm-hmm.
They stopped him. To me, stopping that running game gave LA the path to win.
Yeah, Gibbs was not a non-factor in this game, which is kind of why I wish Dan Campbell would have used him a little bit more in the passing game, like they did against the Cowboys. That just didn't feel like it happened. Listen, I thought the Lions. We know the Lions could score with anybody, and they did get a couple of stops in this game. They really, the Aiden Hutchinson pick you talked about.
That was cool. That was such good awareness. Sorry.
No. You're fine. Like this defense had moments, but they're so banged up in the secondary that it's just like you want it for them. You want it for them, and it's just nah. And the Rams are like, this is why the Rams are the best team in football. It's not even just the record at 11-3, but you have two elite receivers. You have a 37-year-old quarterback who's playing the best football of his entire career. Meanwhile, there always talks about Matthew Stafford retiring.
No matter what happens this season, I believe he's done. No matter what, this is it for him. Whether he go, even if he goes to the Super Bowl, it's it. This is his last season.
But they got the 37-year-old quarterback. They got the two elite receivers. They've got two running backs with
Two good running backs.
right with Kyron Williams and Blake Corum. Oh, and by the way, that defense, even
Got
though
exposed a little.
no, they'll give up 30. They give up 34. But look, they shut down Jameer Gibbs.
Yeah. And that's, I mean, that, no offense to Jonathan Taylor, who, again, should win the AFC MVP, in my opinion, already. Lock it up for him. Jameer Gibbs is the NFC version of him. And you're stopping that? That's impressive. That's a statement, in my opinion.
Yeah,
If Gibbs had a better day, this game would have been a 1 or 2 point victory for either side.
yeah, like the Rams can beat you any way you want it.
That's the way you need it.
It really takes you on a journey.
Hold on, baby. Hold on.
The wheels in the sky, man.
Mike and I could do this all day, but we
They
have
never
a
make you want to don't stop believing.
It's just a
Um,
small town world. Let's move on. And Mike's a small town girl. There we go.
uh, that's just creepy within itself. Um, AFC East action. The Bills beat the Patriots 35-31, coming back from a 21-point deficit. So the Patriots cannot clinch the AFC East now, at least for 2 weeks.
I'm trying to think of the words to describe this game because this was fun to watch. Any game that involves snow and high score, yes, I love it. It's fun. I used to play football in the snow, so I know. Drake May, mind you, didn't get the win here, but I don't think he considerably gets the loss. Yeah, he threw the lone interception. Josh Allen threw for 3 TDs. This was probably the most highest profile game he's had to play yet. In conditions that are not normal for any football game on any given day, on any given Sunday. And he didn't get blown out by one of the most explosive, good defensive teams in football. The New England defense did the best it can do. This weather played a lot of things, but Drake May was in it for the full game. That's what I want, something that shows you on how good this kid is and how locked in as a franchise quarterback he will be. He just needs better receivers than Bout, Stephon Diggs, and Matt Collins. We need get this kid another big name at least.
You know what's funny? You point to Drake May, and I thought Drake May played fine. Long pick. The New England ran the ball very well, especially Travion
Yes.
Henderson.
What do you have? 150, I think, yesterday. I know he had 2 touchdowns. I know he had 2 touchdowns, but
Double
I think
check.
he had about 150 yards. And considering the weather, James Cook had, I think, 100 something too.
Travion Henderson, 148.
Okay, and on a weather day like that, I mean, that's impressive.
And James Cook went for 107. Look, the story is this. The Bill stars played like stars.
Nice way to put it.
But there was one thing that bothered me. If you go back and watch this game, Josh Allen throws an interception in this game, but it doesn't get credit for the interception because we've got pass interference. And I keep watching this play because it's a deep throw. The defender turns around, looks for the ball, and he grabs it. My problem is this with the NFL. We always talk about the face guarding being a flag. Well, this guy turned around and made a great play, and we're still throwing the flag. At some point right now, you have to be allowed to play defense. And it is a frustrating thing to watch. I take nothing away from Josh Allen. I take nothing away from the Bills. But that play to me, if that's called right, and in my opinion, that's an interception, different ball game.
There's going to be a lot of talk after the season regarding two plays. One of them not by this team, and we'll get to them soon. But one of them being pass interference, and one of the proposals being brought up is once per game, you may challenge a PI call, whether it be offense or defense. And it will give teams an extra challenge, but can only be used for that specific play. That's it. And then, except same rules, under 2 minutes, it has to come from upstairs, yada, 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 yada. You'll be able to challenge PI once per game.
I'm already out because we already tried this, and how often was it called in the field stands?
I,
I'm
I
out.
absolutely get it, but I mean that is just news that has been reported. I'm just
I'm
going by
out
what's
on
there.
challenging PI. I'm also out on this upstairs crap because I'm going to do another soliloquy here. Last night, 3rd and 3, Aaron Rodgers misses Marquez Valdez-Scantling, argues for a holding or PI call. 40 seconds later, replay assist gives the Steelers 12 men on the field. It's the right call. But you're telling me that's 40 seconds later after Rodgers is bitching and moaning about a holding call. I don't like it.
And there you're not wrong. And I agree with you. You're not wrong there. That being going under 2 minutes should not be allowed to be seen by the umps to call out additional flags that had not been thrown. That's something that has to be changed, and I agree with you 100% there. Because that's just bull caca. And we should not be allowing the high echelon of players to be able to dictate how the game goes.
Yeah, so keep it moving. Bills, Patriots, they're done for the year. They split. The Patriots cannot clinch the AFC East for at least 2 weeks. And next week they got another tough one because they're going to Baltimore to play the Ravens.
I think they can beat them. I think they can beat them.
Well, the Ravens beat the Bengals by a score 24-0 on Sunday. Had arguably one of the greatest pick sixes you'll ever see. The heads up of Kyle Van Noy.
Yeah. Go ahead, keep going.
Hold on, I'm just picking up the stats.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Nope. Look,
Need to cut you
Lamar,
up.
8 of 12. Lamar Jackson threw the ball 12 times in this game and they won. 8 of 12, 150 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a pick. Derrick Henry went for 100 yards. Zay Flowers, 3 catches, 68 yards, and a touchdown. Joe Burrow, 25 of 39, 225 yards, and 2 picks. Jamar Chase went for over 130 yards. The Bengals season's officially over.
Oh, summer. Sorry.
So the Bengals season's officially over. The Ravens keep their hopes alive. Dominating performance.
This Mike put it very clearly, and I'm going to be brief on this. Lamar Jackson, as Mike pointed out, only had to throw the ball 12 times. That was also because it was 1 degree on that field and felt like in the negative digits at times. That doesn't matter. You're playing in pro football. Deal with it. Macaulay Culkin needs to do better when playing here. He could not drop the paint cans, get them to fall on the micro machine cars, didn't have a spider to scare him. However, he moved the ball around but there was no life in Cincinnati. And as much as Joe Burrow tried getting it there, he was fighting a losing game. The defense looked like crap. Derrick Henry had only run the ball 11 times and for 100 yards. And Zay Flower needed one reception for 40 yards to get a touchdown. Baltimore is 7-7. They're not this good. New England can come in and beat Baltimore.
Did you see what the Bengals also did?
That does not give me a lot of information.
So when people entered the stadium, the seats were not clean of snow. The Bengals
No, I did not know
the
that.
Bengals did not clean the snow off of the seats in the stadium.
That I didn't know. And
Uh,
we have seen many a games where this has happened, and where not only players and coaches have been hurt, Santa have been hurt. Clean your freaking stadium, otherwise you're giving your fans weapons of mass explosion.
Also, it doesn't take much to clean off the seats.
No, mind you, I haven't had to clean a 60,000 stadium, but a 4,000 seat stadium, but I did not have to clean snow.
Yeah. All right. Talk briefly about the Jags. They beat up on the Jets 48-20. Trevor Lawrence, 6 total
Great game.
touchdowns. Best game of his career.
He's a good quarterback. He's just not been given all the opportunities.
He just needs to find the consistency.
Yeah.
That's what he's got to do. He's got to find the consistency.
I mean, look, the Jets aren't anything big, but 20 of 32, 330, and 5 touchdowns.
And a
That's
rushing
not,
touchdown.
and a rushing touchdown. That's not, that's not something to shy away at. And, hats off to Travis Etienne for being his BFF on the day and getting 3 touchdowns.
Uh, They're still up in the AFC South over the Texans, who put up a 40 spot on the Cardinals.
Again, not a defense that was hard to do, but the return of CJ Stroud is getting better and better.
And that connection with Nico Collins is back.
That skinny post, I think it was literally like the first 4 minutes of the game. It was beautiful.
I got to tell you, I keep thinking this way. That's the team I'm not going to want to see in the playoffs.
The offense doesn't worry me as much. That defense would be my most concerning factor because, again, that secondary is good. That upfront line is good. Derek Stingley Jr. has had a fantastic year. Don't rule out Al Shahir. I know he had something over 10 tackles at least on this game. This Houston defense doesn't get the recognition it should.
They're playing their ass off. The Eagles get back on track with a 31-0 win over the Raiders. Listen, good for the Eagles. I'm putting up 31. I'm still not a believer you beat the Raiders.
The other play, obviously, that I was alluding to is the tush push. And now, after certain teams have played the Eagles and seen it go the other way for them, there are now 3 other owners now switching sides.
So when it
Who
gets
will now-
put back on the
list, they're going to get enough votes, and it's going to be ruled out.
All right. The Bears beat up on the Browns 31-3. How about that second touchdown to DJ Moore? That throw from Caleb. Oh,
Look, I'll say I owe Caleb Williams an apology, and I'll make it very quick. Last year, all I did was call him a big mouth and all that. He has stuffed it back down my throat with his play this year. Hats off to Caleb Williams and a great game that he and the Bears played.
the Niners beat the Titans 37-24. But the Niners, another 10-win season despite all the injuries.
This was not a game that we expected the Niners to lose. I want to give a prop to Cam Ward. Probably one of his better games. Yeah, he had a few errant passes, but 18-29, 2 touchdowns and 170 for this team, and another 100-yard performance from Tony Pollard. Good game.
The Commanders beat the Giants 29-21 in what was a game that was just really weird at the end.
And Jaden Daniels re-injuring his elbow will miss the rest of the season.
Yeah, they shut him down, they said yesterday,
Yeah.
which is the right move.
Well, yeah, I mean, they're not competing for a playoff spot. They're not even in the hunt anymore.
Yeah, they're
So,
eliminated. So the smart move,
so
play
yeah, you shut him
Mariota.
down. And if he's recommended for surgery, you get it done now.
Yeah, they play the Eagles on Saturday.
Yeah, Mariota will be starting the final
They play the
games
Cow.
in season.
So the Redskins, the Commanders' last four games are going to be all divisional games.
I think it's Eagles, Dallas Eagles.
It's Eagles, Dallas Eagles.
Yeah, and
Oh, technically, it's Giants, Eagles, Dallas Eagles. I mean, went out last week, and right now the Giants would have the number one overall pick.
here's my thought on that, and I'm gonna make it very quick because I really don't want to get into the draft yet. If I am the Mara family, and if I'm get whether I get the number one or the number two pick, knowing how this draft is going to go, and you don't have to be a psychic to see how this draft and the first 10 picks are going to go. The Giants need a running back, and they'll easily be able to trade down and get one, as there are a couple in the first round that are not going to go one, two, three, four, or five. So
Or
the
they could
Giants'
take a
best interest,
receiver.
I'd be going more for the running back. Yeah, you need a receiver to help out with Malik Neighbors to get him a better look, but that they can acquire. What they need to acquire is a running back, and there's a couple they can choose from, and they should get the pick of the lot. They should be able to trade down to be able to do it too without having to, with gaining a lot. Could pick up three, four picks for it.
Oh yeah, you could pick up a
I
lot
mean,
for that.
and if they want to take any cues, you take cues from your sister team in East Rutherford. Look what the Jets did, acquiring 5 first-round picks. By the way, Quinton Williams with that interception against Minnesota.
So the Vikings beat the Cowboys 34-26. Thus,
Yeah.
the Cowboys still have a 1% chance to make the. No, they have to win the East, right?
Yeah, they can't get in as a wild card.
So
It's
so they need to win out, and the Eagles need to lose out.
yeah. Look, I've said this in weeks past. I never had high expectations of Dallas making the playoffs with this defense. And even if they did, I said they would be knocked out in the first round. Dallas can quietly walk in if the Eagles completely collapse. I don't see that happening. And I don't think Dallas wants to be in the playoffs right now, to be honest with you. I don't think any firings will happen in Dallas. I think Dallas is going to keep everybody. Dallas will upgrade this defense in free agency in a lot of places. And probably, I'll having a piece on this by the end of the week. Trayvon Diggs will be traded for a couple of picks come the offseason.
Yeah, that whole story is weird.
He has been non-committant since the day Micah Parsons was traded.
So from what I've read, was Sunday, he thought he was getting activated. He felt he could play, and then
And Jerry Jones said no.
and Stephen Jones said yesterday they weren't going to clear, they couldn't clear him. So it's a very weird situation going on. And by the way, they just committed a lot of money to Trevon Diggs too.
And that's the problem. Was a 5-year, $100 million deal, if I remember it exactly, with X amount of guaranteed. I can't tell you that number. Um, Diggs, look, when he had that 11 interception year, yeah, everybody was buying into him. Trayvon, and then the knee injury happened. Yeah, does it have? We've seen ACL, and this was right after he signed the contract. And then before he can even step back on the field, the guy he rooms with, the guy he helped get drafted and everything, is traded to the Green Bay Packers. All his incentive, all his motivation went out the door. This incident that happened at home, he caused it himself. Nobody from the Cowboys went over and caused this. He caused it himself. So the Cowboys are punishing him the right way. He will be activated because he's already been activated for the 21-week window, which means he should be back against the Chargers. If he is not back and they sit him again, he will not play another down in Dallas, and he will be the first thing moved in the offseason. And it could be for a very good chunk of second and third round picks.
So it was a 5-year deal, 97 million up to 104. So the AAV of
Okay.
19.4.
And the guarantee was what?
Okay, the signing bonus was 21. Let's
Blackjack.
see. We got the signing bonus. Give me a second. Let me see if ESPN had it. At the time, it
Thank
made
you all
him
for
the
being
highest
patient
paid
with us.
corner.
Right.
Uh,
And
42.3 million was guaranteed.
all right, so he's still got 3 years left on this, 2 years left on this contract. Jerry Jones can release him, but the amount of dead money they're not going to want to have. If Trayvon Diggs plays in Dallas, it's on the contract he has. I am sure Dallas will be looking to move him because he's not helping his case right now. We'll see what he does over the last 3 games.
And the last one we got the Saints beating the Panthers by a score of 20-17. The Panthers, who had a chance to jump into first place of the NFC South, don't get there. The Saints on back-to-back weeks beat the Bucks and the Panthers. Oh. And
Fuck
without
you,
Alvin
Carolina.
Kamara.
Fuck you, Carolina. You couldn't cover 2.5 lousy fucking points.
Hey. I want to hear.
Okay. That is my expletive for the entire day.
Listen, I had to get 6 spreads right. I got 5 out of 6 because Tampa Bay couldn't cover. And they blew a 14-point lead.
It was a 2.5 point game. That's all they had to do. All they had to do was win by a field goal. And they couldn't do that.
By the way,
That would have been an 11-game parlay.
they would have been in first place in the division.
Look, not to take anything away from New Orleans or Carolina, both teams played exceptionally well. McMillan showing why he has a good chance at Offensive Rookie of the Year, had another good game. And you're talking about this Panthers team that is getting better and better and better.
Yeah.
I said in a statement to the guys over the weekend, I said 2 years, they're going to be deadly. 2 more years. I think they need a little bit more protection for Bryce Young, and they need to get him another receiver. They tried the work with Terrence Marshall. He never really panned out, even though he had a good college career. He never panned out really. I'm sorry, Terrence Marshall Jr. I apologize. So they need to get him another receiver to go along with McMillan, and they need to get J.C. Horn a little bit more help on the secondary.
Yeah, and give the Saints a ton of credit. They're really playing for pride here. Kellen Moore's done a pretty nice job first year. Tyler Show is showing that, hey, give him an opportunity to be the guy next year. They're winning games right now without Alvin Kamara.
Kamara, I think, is going to be traded in the offseason.
And by the way, they may win again on Sunday. They're playing the Jets.
And look, it would be great for New Orleans to go out this way. It'd be a fitting way to go, but I think we've seen the best of what we're going to see. They've impressed enough. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens. We'll be back with you Sunday for the Sunday Sideline Report. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe here to the YouTube channel. Follow the socials: Twitter, S Insanity Real, Facebook, the Sports Insanity Network. Go to the website, thesportsinsanitynetwork.com for great blogs, vlogs, planes, trains, and automobiles. Follow the podcast or listen to the podcast wherever you get your podcasts as well. For Mark, I'm Mike. Thanks for listening to the recap show. And we'll see you all Sunday morning for the Sunday Sideline Report.